Well, they figure they can lose 100 games where they.
Oh, Nate, yeah, I know Nate.
That's where they're at.
How's it going this weekend?
Lousy. No, having a great time, seeing some guys I haven't seen in a while. You know, we having just glad to be around them.
I guess you make a comeback in Birmingham. Is that SWC legend or SEC legend?
You know what? It's kind of funny. We played in the Southwest Conference, so I didn't know what that meant. But my wife's a little excited about it, and I haven't done anything like this in years, so we're going to try to enjoy it.
It's kind of hard to believe it's been 40 years since you guys went to Omaha and all that.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. The years add up. But we're glad to come back and see some guys that are still around, including myself. So I'm, like I said, excited to be here.
I know you've been over here before, but what do you think about the facilities and the crowds now? And then you guys obviously were kind of a starting point for all that because you really were the first team that did something big nationally at Arkansas.
I tell you what, this is unbelievable. I mean, it is what it is. State of the art. The top-notch facilities. So you're going to get top-notch talent to come here, and it's just great for the university.
How special is it to kind of reminisce on what you guys were able to do for them?
Well, it's nice. It's nice to be recognized, I guess, and everything. Like I said, it was fun when I was over here. Loved the competition, loved the players, and loved everything about the university. That's why I came here. So, having success was just an added plus for me.
Norm said you guys weren't the easiest team to coach. Sometimes he just didn't really want to know what you were doing.
Well, a few of us, I guess, it probably was that way. But like I said, we all came together at one time to try to sway for winning baseball, and we did that. Got on the roll and made the best of it.
You obviously had a great major league career, but all the stuff you did in the majors, obviously you were making great money. But was playing here in college, is that about as good the time that you had?
At the time, it was probably one of the best decisions I made was coming here. There are a lot of programs was just starting out that are powerhouses now that I had a chance to look at, but I just felt at home once I got here. I heard some pretty different stories before I got here about Arkansas, but once I got here and talked with Coach and a few other players, my mind was pretty made up when I wanted to come here.
What were some of the other schools you were considering?
OU, OSU, Pan American, Arizona State, a few of those coaches and everything around, and Wichita State.
Welcome in, fellas. This is our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio as we come to you each and every day here on KDSJ 479 Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And from former Arkansas Razorback great Johnny Ray, who's a member of the 1979 Collegiate World Series team. Arkansas honored the 79 and 2009 Collegiate World Series teams this past weekend in their three-game series versus the Tennessee Volunteers on Saturday. Was quite the ceremony. Guys were able to come in, be treated like royalty and also see a very, very lopsided but favorable Arkansas 15-3 win. So we came in with audio, but I want to bring in quickly my producer, co-host, Demetrius Johnson, Demigod, but you all know him here on this show as my home guy. I want to let everybody know today's show will be caller-driven. If you have any topics that you want to talk about, in particular the Arkansas basketball program, how do you feel about the early aggressiveness as far as recruiting goes toward Eric Musselman and staff? I mean, a lot of offers have gone out and doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon on the recruiting trail. Arkansas and Coach Musselman are really, really putting that brand out forefront of these young men in the 2020 and 2019. But we're going to step away, get a real quick break, and we'll be back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
How you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. Where are you living now? What are you doing?
I actually am in Bentonville now,
Okay.
and I get the opportunity to work with young kids on their swings and their baseball career. So I actually retired about a year ago, and now I'm still kind of getting to do something I love. So it's been a pleasure to be able to do it.
So you're basically doing individual coaching, or what?
Yeah, I get to work with kids individually on their baseball games, through their swing, the mental part of the game, and a lot of different aspects. Been doing it for about a year now, so I'm kind of getting to see them grow as players and develop and get better themselves.
How come you just like living like when you're going to school here, you want to come back to this area? Or
Yeah, when I came here, I thought, man, this is a great area. And then I met my wife, who was from Bentonville, and their family's there, and it's just a really nice place. I'm really close to the university, so it's almost just like home now. So it's been great for me.
You followed these last 2 years team pretty closely.
Not as close as I probably should have, but man, it just seems like Razorback baseball has just really taken off, and Dave Van Horn and the staff's just done an awesome job with everything they've done, and it's been, man, baseball is just like one of the main sports here, so it's been great.
do you get to go to many games? Or?
This will be the first one I've been to in a while because I just retired last year, and it's going to be fun to watch them play Tennessee tonight.
Obviously, you had a great career here. You were a high draft pick, but baseball, it's hard to get to the majors. Kind of, what's that professional baseball journey been like for you?
I had a good run at it. I fell short of where I wanted to be and the expectations that were set out for me, but I gave it everything I had. I had some injuries along the way that didn't help my cause, but there towards the end there, me and my wife decided and prayed about it and thought that it was about time to probably hang them up and pursue a different career, and it's been a pleasure so far getting to work with some young kids in this area.
Still keep up with Todd Butler too?
Yeah, I do my best to keep up with as many people as I can. It's seeing all these guys here kind of makes me feel bad for not keeping up with all of them because the 2 years that I was here, we grew to love each other and play games together and had obviously a great 2009 year. So I'm sure I'll keep up with them better now, especially.
Who came back from this 2009 team?
We had a really good turnout. I mean, there's only players that are in the major leagues right now that didn't quite make it. So 2009 team had an awesome turnout, I thought. I'm not sure how many exactly. Man, I actually trimmed it up before I got here, so it's a little shorter than what it was.
2009, it's hard to believe it was 10 years ago. I mean, it is for me. What's it like for you?
It is hard to believe it was 10 years ago, and when you see faces you haven't seen, and for me, 9 and 10 years, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years, But, man, it just brings back all the great memories.
Was it cool, like you were just talking to Kevin, is it cool to get to interact with the 79 team too?
Absolutely, because when I was here, you hear names like that, but you don't always get to put a face with a name. You don't always get to meet them, and just getting to run into them and hearing about, you feel like 10 years was a long time ago. Hearing their stories is just awesome to hear. They all have a lot of stories as well, just like I feel like I have a lot of stories. They have a lot more than I do.
What was that run like for you guys to get to Omaha and to do some of the things you did?
It was said best in the
Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, on the hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure and tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla. Welcome back. It's on the hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio, coming to you each and every day here live on KDSJ 479. And, Arkansas, we gave you more audio from 2009 Collegiate World Series participant Zach Cox. Took place and was part of the 2009 College World Series, Razorback squad. And as we had a chance to, and the fans got a chance to appreciate just the history of what this program has been able to do, not only under Dave Van Horn, but former and previous Razorback head coach Norm DeBryan, whom DVH had the privilege of playing here at the University of Arkansas for. So, when you talk about this, Demetrius, and you look at this program over and over and over and over, this is not a team that's supposed to be where they're at. This team is ranked 6th by some, 5th by multiple polls. There's so many collegiate baseball polls at 34 and 11. Pretty surprising. But yet, when you look at the way that this program has been built, and they're coming off of this Collegiate World Series runner-up with the talent level, I mean, it's not too surprising. Or this man has really got it going at a high level, don't you? Don't you honestly think?
Yeah, that was something we touched on yesterday about Dave and pretty much the consistency and the stability that's here at Arkansas right now.
If you want to call in, you can do so, 601-7400. Our topic today is, how have you viewed Coach Eric Musselman in the first 3.5, almost month on the job? As far as staff, what do you think about the additions he's made on his staff, also in the recruiting, as he's offered nine 5-star athletes from the 20 to 21 class. A lot of big time kids to come to mind. Kyrie Walker is a young man that most scouting services have as a top 15, also a 5-star kid, and a young man I know Eric, Coach Muss and staff, they covet very, very, very highly. Dalen Cherry's another young man out of the Hillcrest area in Phoenix, Arizona, that Coach Musselman and staff covet. Also, too, Michael Foster, Cade Cunningham, just a lot of big time players, and as Coach Musselman likes to say, positionless players. All these guys hail between 6'6", 6'5" to that 6'9", 6'10" range. And when you look at this staff, Demetrius, and you look at the players, as you'll be seeing multiple highlights throughout our show of a lot of these individual young men, Coach Muss is not scared, Demetrius. And it's kind of like, when Chad came in, and also prior to that, Coach Neighbors, they came in with an energy and an aggressiveness and a purpose to sell that brand, and not be afraid to offer some of the big-time elite kids that maybe, if you're in women's basketball, UConn or Baylor or Notre Dame, and if you're in the men's game, Kentucky, North Carolina, and then on the football field, you're talking about Clemson, Alabama's, Oklahoma's, the Ohio States. These coaches are coming in, and they're making offers, and they're really, really making these kids high priority. I mean, is that something that you feel in basketball Coach Muss will have the success? Also, too, having the advantage of being a former NBA coach, and having Coach Williams, that's a former NBA player.
For sure, credibility is everything, and I think once you can express the fact that you've been on your level, at the highest level, the NBA, because, I mean, to me, that's why people choose D1 schools versus going anywhere else. They want to have that chance to be on the national professional level. I think Musselman has a deep insight, not only on the coaching side, but the organizational side of things. And I think that's special because that can change even the way the operation of the program is ran. And I think that's really the nuts and bolts of the final product out of the program.
And when you look at this, I mean, you look at a Kyrie Walker, and this is a guy that's 6 feet 6 inches tall, over 200 pounds, very skilled individual, a guy that when we had on Kevin McPherson, and when you watch his film, he does make all of his surrounding teammates a lot better, has the ability to get to the rim at any given moment. A lot of people are saying that he's going to reclassify, but, in my opinion, I'm not seeing that. I talked to Kyrie about a week and a half ago, and his plan was to stay in the 2020 class. Per our conversation, now we all know, kids, we're dealing with 18, 19-year-old kids, some are 17. You never know where their minds are going to be, but, regardless if he is to reclassify or stay in the 20 class, you have to feel like he's going to be one of those kids. And I know I was one of the big proponents, and I'll go on record and say, I've always felt like Arkansas would not be a program that could attract consistent 4- and 5-star young men. Well, I mean, I may have to backtrack on that because, when you see a guy that's coached in the NBA, bringing staff members that's played also in the NBA, and are really, really well-known recruiters throughout the collegiate profession and the AAU circuit, because I'm telling you, Demetrius, that's where it counts the most. You have to have a connection with these elite AAU programs. Regardless of whether you like it or not, the middlemen, which are these AAU coaches, because they spend so much time with these kids, you have to build a relationship. And I think that's something that Coach Muss and staff are really going to, reach out and try to, make sure they have some very, very fruitful bridges built. I mean, how do you think that's going to go, and how important is it, in your opinion, is the relationship from collegiate coach to AAU coach and, and on to the family?
I think that's everything, because so much of basketball has gone to the AAU sector. You really see people really starting to leave the high school circuits just because there's so many rules with those interstate schools, and where you go, what side of town you live on determines what school you go to versus
Right.
a kid having a choice of where he wants to go to school. But to me, that's just the new wave, and I think if coaches really want to be successful, they have to adapt to the evolving times. And like you said, AAU is the king right now. Looking back at the EYL circuit and EBY circuit, I really just that was my first time getting to go consistently to those type of Nike circuits and Nike combines. So I just see a big asset to even attending those and building those type of relationships, because kids you normally couldn't go into their house because they live in Los Angeles. You have an AU tournament where they come down to the University of Arkansas, or somebody like LeBron James' son Bronny having a chance to even be in the vicinity of the University of Arkansas. Not saying he's interested in coming, but just having those type of players even come around the environment, which brings marketing and a different sense of branding to the town. And I think that's special when you're really looking for top tier talent to come to your university.
Is Arkansas, with the facilities and the financial resources that they have here in this program, is it one of those schools that it should sell itself? Should they be able to, maybe not to the degree that the Dukes and the Kentuckys and the North Carolinas and UCLAs are able to, but is this the type of program that should be able to attract at least 1 to 2 to maybe 3, 4, and 5-star kids, those McDonald's type of kids that make differences in your program? At least get 2 every so often. I mean, is this something that, you should at least expect 2 or 3 in your program over a 4-year period at all times?
In my opinion, yes. I think when you look at like the type of resources, the type of capital, the type of state that Arkansas is, and the influence that Arkansas has on other states in the United States as a whole, I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be a top priority destiny for a lot of kids. I think what's really been Arkansas's problem, though, and we kind of mentioned this earlier when we were talking to some of our sponsors, is a lot of the previous coaches didn't really know how to maximize the brand that Arkansas offered. Because it's a special university, it's different. Very traditional, but within that, it still has a lot of opportunity and influence on a Fortune 500 level, and I think that's very powerful, especially when you have companies such as Walmart, which has so many different contracts with smaller businesses and so many real estate, poultry. I just think it's so many opportunities beyond the sports levels. Even if you are an athlete and you're into investments, I think just the University of Arkansas exposes you to different networking groups that you wouldn't normally be introduced to. Because I just think Walmart is one of the most powerful corporations in the world. And I think anytime you're plugged in with that company itself, I think you have an upper hand when you're talking business.
Well, I know we have. We're going to play some audio from a coach that was plugged in with multiple great businessmen and great professional Major League Baseball players. Coach Van Horn, he talks about his time with the Collegiate World Series 1979 team, and also just what's going on in Razorback baseball at this moment. Here's Coach O'Brien, and then we'll be back with much more. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a minute.
I know. At that age, they take advantage of you, too. They threw rocks at me and stuff like that. But, it was just something different for me, being from Arkansas and playing baseball. Wasn't real well thought of at the time. I was fortunate enough to play at a high school that actually had a ball team, then got to play American Legion. But it was kind of this was what you see as a kid growing up in the state of Arkansas. And that was just kind of a magical year. It really put Arkansas baseball on the map.
When you got here as a freshman, did you have any idea you guys could be that good and go to Omaha? Because Arkansas never done anything close to that.
No, I did. look back on it now, I don't even know what I did think. It's just the mindset of a kid then, plus what you see now is a lot different. There's all kinds of stuff going on, but I'm just playing. Just come up here and see where you fit in, and go out and try to do your job.
What do you think about when you see the facilities and these crowds now? I think you guys are probably the team that kind of laid the foundation for all this stuff that's happened since then.
Well, this is incredible what they've got now. Being fortunate enough to play in pro ball, it's as good as any AAA facilities around the country, and I don't care what anybody says. It's a far cry from what it was back then, to put it mildly.
How fun a weekend is it when you get together? I know you guys were up here for the Texas game last year, but when you get a big group together like this, how fun has this been? How special?
Well, the stories always get better. A lot of the stories are forgotten, but it's just good to see that these guys, we're all getting in the 60s now. It's good to see only one of the guys has passed away at this point. That's really unusual. So it's good to see who still has hair and who doesn't. But all the ones that have it's still gray. So it's a good thing to get together.
Norm said you guys, and I don't know if you were a freshman, I don't know, but he said the team gave him a real hard time. It was hard to coach you guys.
Oh, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, I remember a day when he had the outfielders out there by the center field fence firing fungos at us from about 20 feet. Now, you tell me who, I was a freshman. I was too scared to do anything but what I was supposed to do. So there may have been other stuff going on, I don't know.
Yeah, we all see Norm now, and he's just a grandfatherly guy and everything, but I know he was storming Norman back in the day. What was he like to play for? Oh,
he was a great guy to play for, but he could get fired up from time to time, and what you want to see that. I think a coach should get fired up. When you're not doing your job or your team's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or he thinks should be doing better than what we are. It's time to get a little of that.
Welcome back. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you each and every day here on KDSJ 479, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We come to you, and we came in with Kevin McReynolds, former 1979 Collegiate World Series participant on that Razorback team, and I remember that team. Very well. Should have won that 1979 Collegiate World Series. With kids or players here at this university, and it doesn't matter whatever sport it is, but to play for the state and really, really, really stress the one Razorback. Play for the young gentleman on that tractor. Play for the gentleman at the gas station. Play for that young man at McDonald's. That's hinging on every play. Living on every single snap, every hit. Every shot, every run. Demetrius, what do you Arkansas is a very unique state in the fact that they have so much pressure, and this is considered to be the it thing in the state of Arkansas. This is the professional team. Is that a hindrance or a benefit if you're an athlete here at the University of Arkansas, if you're so fortunate to make it to the next level? Is that something that's going to hurt you, or will it help you? Having to experience something like what you get to experience at the University of Arkansas.
It helps. I just think it's
We have a little audio difficulty, and I think it's due to the weather. You can't sometimes predict what's going to go on in our profession, but we're going to continue on. Hopefully Mother Nature will have a couple more minutes to have some fun and then move on. But I want to continue on and get back into this basketball recruiting, because when you look at Cade Cunningham, young man out of the Dallas area, played at Montvardy Academy, played with Texas Titans. He's a 6'6" guy, that another 6'6" guy. We keep talking about these 6'6" non-positional players, was just recently offered by Coach Musselman and that coaching staff over the weekend. Another 4 or 5-star young man. I know he's also being looked at by the Kentuckys, Carolinas, Dukes. Multiple programs are in the EYBL circuit to check Cade out over the weekend. But, he's big and aggressive. Also, too, Michael Foster is another young man, 6'9". But the thing that I think caught my eye is Coach Musselman. So, that tells me that he's a very aggressive recruiter, because he's trying to get him to come to Nevada. And Nevada's a very hard place to get those types of players. But he had one make its way this past season, and Jordan Brown was able to get a McDonald's All-American to come to the University of Nevada. So that he's able to recruit. I think when kids get around him, from what I've been told and talking to multiple players that are being recruited in that 2020 class, Kyrie and DT in particular, is his genuineness. Coach doesn't tell you what you want to hear. He tells you how you can fit in. He lets you give feedback about, where do you see yourself at in his program, which I think that's real good to open up the lines of communication. That's, when you're a listener, I think it's all the more better. You're not such a dictator. I think that's going to be something that's really going to go over well. I've had a chance to talk to a couple players out and about town. They feel really good about the vibe that's being taken place under Coach Muss in these first couple of weeks of individual workouts. Understand, they're kind of getting an understanding of, his demands and what it takes, the type of effort it's going to take to really succeed here at Arkansas under Coach Musselman. But real quick, we're going to step away, our last break, and then we're going to continue to talk more. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a moment.
The ones that have it, it's still gray, so it's a good thing to get together.
Norm said, you guys, and I don't know if you were a freshman, I don't know, but he said the team gave him a real hard time. It was hard to coach you guys.
Oh, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, I remember a day when he had the outfielders out there by the center field fence firing fungos at us from about 20 feet. Now, you tell me who. I was a freshman. I was too scared to do anything but what I was supposed to do. So there may have been other stuff going on. I don't know.
We all see Norm now, and he's just a grandfatherly guy and everything. But I know he was storming Norman back in the day. I mean, what was he like to play for?
Oh, he was a great guy to play for, but he could get fired up from time to time, and what you want to see that. I mean, I think a coach should get fired up. When you're not doing your job, or your team's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or he thinks should be doing better than what we are. I mean, it's time to get a little of the ass.
But even if talk to some of the 2009 team guys, it's kind of cool to think. Arkansas has been to a lot of different World Series now, but to think 40 years apart, there was 2 teams. There was 89 team too. So,
it's just a magical time in a young man's life to be in college and playing a sport and being successful.
Welcome back. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. Got about 30 minutes left here on today's show, and if you want to call in with any topic, in particular basketball recruiting, how you've really been, viewing Coach Eric Musselman since he took over as the new head hog in Fayetteville with his staff, with the way he's recruiting, call in. You can do so at 601-7400, area code 479. That'll get you in here to OTH. And, or if you just want to reach out on our YouTube or Facebook live stream with a question, you can do so as well, and we'll try to, here in the next 30 minutes, get that answer to you. But continuing on with Coach Musselman and the recruiting job that he's done. I've said over the last week and a half and really studied a lot of these players, and I can tell you, difference makers. It shows me that Coach Musselman really coveted this job, saw all the positives that he could even take his his program and the things that he wants to do at the collegiate level, even higher than what he had him at the University of Nevada. Now, I mean, people must never forget that this team at Nevada last year was the 5th-ranked team in all of college basketball. At one point during the season, was really highly thought of to be a team that can make a deep run into the NCAA tournament. Unfortunately, was knocked off. I think they had like a 5 seed or something to that effect. Was beaten by the Florida Gators. Kind of upset. It was kind of an upset when you think about it. But when I look at the way he's recruited with all these top-notch kids, and it's the same thing, the same exact thing that Coach Morris did. He hit the ground running, and from day one, Tyree Walker, Dalen Terry, Moses Moody, Jalen Williams, and this is all in the first week, second week, and there goes Michael Foster, Cade Cunningham, just to name a few. Chris Moore is another young man in state. He's already reached out to Matthew Morilla, a former Arkansas recruit under the Coach Anderson era. Has already taken an official visit to the University of Fayetteville back in October during the Alabama weekend. So just the things that he's been able to do. When you look at these players like Cade Cunningham and then you look over and you see a Michael Foster, like I said, multi-dimensional kids that can put the ball on the floor, come off the bounce, pick and pop. They're really, really aggressive defensively. And I think that's really the difference that you see here. Is the way that they play defense. Coach Buss has already said, without defense, there's no minutes. And I think that's the way you have to, get back to. Defense, to me, Demetrius, has been an option. And not only here, but you can see it at the high school level. You can see it at the NBA level, at the Pee Wee level. Defensive basketball has become an option. And you kind of feel good when you have those coaches, those old school coaches that say, if you don't play hard, you don't play defense, you can't play. I mean, those types of situations will definitely get you excited about what's going on with your program. But I think today we're going to wrap it up. We want to thank everybody real quick. Before we get out of here, we're going to play you audio from head baseball coach, former baseball coach, Norm DeBryan. A little audio for, how he feels about the program. And then we're going to get out of here. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
I had was that national championship game when we've got Steve Kruger, an All-American, on the mound against a guy that didn't get out of the second inning 2 nights earlier, Dave Weatherman. And he comes in and throws the game of his life, hit line drives right at people all night.
You bet.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar.
On your mark, get set, let's go. It goes. Pep rally, pep rally, pep rally. Oh, it's a pep rally.
Tired, huh?
NBA superstar.
Hey everyone, it's Pat Jenkins here of OTH. That's right, On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, Sports Talk Radio. We come to you each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 on KDSJ 479. Be sure to tune in if you want to hear about SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's OTH. Holla. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. As we're going to close out today's show and give a big thank you to all our sponsors, Lindsay & Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. The Baymont Hotel is located at 735 South Shiloh Drive. Also to Locomotion,